Steve Wright's Big Guests.
And now on Steve Wright in the Afternoon, the legendary Barry Humphries. Yes. Barry Humphries is here.
Hello, Tim.
Hello, Barry. How are you?
How are you, Steve?
Barry, nice to see you.
What a wonderful state of preservation you're in.
Well, and your good self too, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you.
Have you seen any of our friends? What's that woman's name? Edna. Have you seen her?
Oh, Dame Edna. Well, she's unfortunately doesn't like me very much. She's convinced that I'm an embezzler.
Oh, really?
She's constantly taking legal action against me. And what can I do?
What's her problem? She's had a great career?
Yes, she just wants to keep it all for herself.
Barry Humphries, comedian, actor, satirist, artist, author, and now, now radio presenter. And I was just saying to Barry, what a great radio voice you have. Let's have a little listen. This is a programme that Barry is doing for Radio 2 here. Here comes a little bit.
My parents' wireless gave me my first impressions of a world far away from Melbourne. When war came, I'd listen to those ominous shortwave radio news reports of faraway European catastrophes from the safety of the silent Australian bush, 13,000 miles away from London.
Wow, that is the voice of a proper DJ almost, I'm thinking. It's very good. It's
You
great.
don't know how hard it is to get my voice as deep as that.
It's very butch.
But minor operation, and there it is.
Yeah. Now, what is this show? It's called Barry's Forgotten Musical Masterpieces. So give me an example of some of the masterpieces included.
I really dispute the title. I don't think there's a single masterpiece in this programme, but there are a lot of minor pieces. I'm very fond of popular music, especially that of my youth. And I love the radio because it's so flexible, expressive, and of course you like to imagine the person on the air. And I love those old songs. And we used to get a lot of programs in Australia of old British comedians doing their act.
Oh, really?
They were miraculous to me, which meant, of course, when I first came to London as a sort of tourist, trying to find jobs in the theatre, I went to the music hall. I went to the Metropolitan Edgware Road, where you could still see some of the acts of the 20s still doing the same thing with a very loyal audience, mostly old ladies, and some of them drinking Guinness and some of them actually shelling peas. They brought household tusks.
Just to save time?
To the theatre, to save time. And they'd sit there and sing along.
And this was the kind of thing that led you to the stage then,
and I got a
Barry?
taste for that. I thought, this is the real theatre.
In the first show, Barry shares his love of Fred Astaire, reveals his all-time favourite vocal group, the Comedian Harmonists.
They were a wonderful singing group in Germany, and they were a sensation, European sensation. They toured the world, and then all of a sudden, around about 1933, they weren't approved of anymore because several of them were Jewish, which the Fuhrer didn't like, and they had to go to Austria, which was really out of the frying pan into the fire. One of them even ended up retired in Sydney. I love this group, and so I play several of their numbers.
Well, listen, let's play another couple of clips, and then we'll come back and say ta-ta.
The voice of the renowned pre-war Austro-Hungarian tenor Joseph Schmidt with Puccini's Nessun Dorma from the opera Turandot, probably the world's best-known operatic aria. In the mornings, there was Daybreak Dan, not unlike Chris Evans, only Dan presumably wore a tie when he presented his radio show, and he only had one car, if any.
We'll tell you about that show in just a moment, just before Barry goes. What are you up to, Barry? I know that you're doing, well, you can tell us, aren't you doing a character in a movie soon, right?
I've just been in the south of France with two women called Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley, and they have created a wonderful comic film based on their characters in the Absolutely Fabulous series, which is, of course, popular throughout the world. And I'm playing an old lover of Joanna Lumley's. Only that were true.
That's top casting, that.
That is brilliant. It's perfect.
That was wonderful. So it's a little scene, but I made sure that it would not end up on the cutting room floor.
Now, can you tell us anything that your old friend Edna is doing?
What is she doing?
Yeah,
well,
do
she's
you
never
know?
been busy. Of course, her charity, Friend of the Prostate, is a major one.
I also heard that she was doing some kind of glorious goodbye farewell tour.
Oh, she's doing a lot of that.
But it won't be farewell, surely.
No, of course not. She's very much in the tradition of Cher and her own great compatriot, Dame Nellie Melba, who never stopped saying goodbye. Yeah. And even the great German soprano, Elisabeth Schwarzkopf, who went all over the world singing goodbye concerts until she got to Birmingham. And her favourite composer was a German composer called Hugo Wolf. And a rather witty critic in Birmingham said, Madame Schwarzkopf has cried Wolf once too often.
And on that note, Barry Humphries' new 3-part music series, Barry's Forgotten Musical Masterpieces, begins tonight at 10 p.m. here on Radio 2.
And it's quite good.
And it's quite good. Barry Humphries, everybody. It's very good, said a spokesman.
Thank you.
Barry Humphries!
Thank you.
Thanks for downloading Steve Wright's Big Guests. Join Steve and the team weekdays from 2 on 88 to 91 FM, BBC Radio 2.